In episode 8 of For All Mankind, we find out what Sergei Nikolov was up to after shifting to the United States. The former director of Roscosmos is now a high school physics teacher. He married an American citizen and was living a routine, ordinary life. He took a break from his routine after seeing Margot on television. He was surprised and overjoyed to learn that Margot Madison was still alive, and he decided it was time that they met. Meanwhile, at Happy Valley, Ed Baldwin tries to convince his trusted Helios workers about Dev Isa's proposal. They were determined to bring the asteroid into Mars orbit, and they needed a practical plan to execute it. After Dev Isa dissolved the strike, Sam refused to trust him again, but Ed was persistent about the new plan, and Sam soon realized there was no better option. The strike resulted in the sudden deployment of a military presence, and the movement of the workers was restricted. Sam decided to hear out Ed, even though she was skeptical about the entire ordeal. Dev believed it was critical to bring Sam along because the workers trusted her, and once she showed faith in the project, the rest would join him. Apart from executing a space robbery, Ed also had to look after his grandson, Alex, so the first order of business for Ed was to find a babysitter. He was afraid of disappointing his daughter once again, but at the same time, the asteroid mission was far more important than spending all his time looking after his grandson. Dev Isa and his team finally met to discuss the details of the plan. They decided to build their own OPSCOM and replace the discriminator with their own copy. Sam was assigned the task of swapping it, and she was aware of how difficult it was going to be given that there would be people all around the ship. Dev Isa made sure that Sam Massey made it to the ship. Initially, the team was hesitant about taking her on board because she was the face of the strike, but Dev explained that he would face massive backlash if he discriminated against a labor organizer. Danielle agreed that having Sam Massey on board would work like an olive branch. With Mike's help, Dev's team brought every part they needed on base, except one, the discriminator. Someone messed up the boxes, and they ended up in a secure lockup. The only person who could fit into the vent that led to the secure lockup was Alex. At the end of Legacy, the little boy was ready to assist his grandfather on his adventure. He found his way through the vent and managed to enter the lockup. Ed and Dev had given up when Alex informed that the box was beyond his reach. But Alex was determined, and he managed to climb and get the box that his grandpa needed. Alex was happy to finally spend some time with his grandfather, and he started to enjoy the old man's company. Sergei reached out to Aleida after he found out that Margot was back in the United States. After protesting against Margot's arrival, Aleida decided to keep her relationship with Margot strictly professional. Margot tried to reconnect with her old colleagues, but everyone made it clear that she was not welcome at NASA. Aleida refused to talk to Sergei when she saw him at her driveway. He begged her to hear him out, and he finally told the entire truth behind Margot's decision. Aleida always believed that Margot was selfish, and it was her greed that resulted in her providing the Soviet Union with the engine design. She was surprised to learn that Sergei had requested the design multiple times, but Margot chose to play it fair. The KGB specifically requested that Sergei attend the IAC and take whatever action was necessary to obtain the design from Margot. But Sergei had refused the proposal, and the KGB got their men to threaten Margot to get access to the design. Even after she was told that she would be reported to the FBI, Margot did not budge from her decision. The KGB began strangling him, and that was when Margot stopped them and agreed to provide the engine design. Sergei explained to Aleida how grateful he was to Margot, the woman who sacrificed her life and honor for Sergei's well-being. Even after finding out the truth, it was not easy for Aleida to accept that Margot had chosen to stay in hiding for 8 years. Sergei could relate to Margot's situation, and he knew how difficult it was for her loved ones to bear. Sergei tried to remind Aleida of the value that Margot brought into her life. All Sergei wanted was to speak to Margot one last time, and Aleida knew that she was the only one who could make it happen. Aleida agreed to deliver a coded message from Sergei to Margot. Margot was not keen on meeting Sergei again. She flushed down the message she received from Aleida, and Sergei was left waiting at the diner. At the end of For All Mankind episode 8, Margot decides to have a clear conversation with Sergei, and she meets him outside the diner.